In this video, I'm going to showing you how to easy, simple, and secure way to create the authentication in Next.js application. As you can see, this is the sign up page. Look super clean because we're using Shadcn basically. And as you can see, if I click submit, we get all the validation on the client side. Look super great. And also for the authentication, we're going to use Better Auth. Better Auth is like the name, it's better because this is just really simple to implement in Next.js application, and we are going to use PostgreSQL to store the data, and also we're going to use Prisma to connecting with our client, right? And also we're going to use Arcjet. Arcjet is basically security for our application. And also I'm going to showing you how to basically validate the email. If the email is temporary or if the email doesn't exist in this world, we can basically block that request in our sign up. So let me show you how the application works. All right, so now let's try to sign up. I'm gonna say Chan, my name, and also chan@mail.com. For the password, I'm gonna say 123 123 123. All right, let's hit submit. It will redirect me to the sign in page, and then as you can see, great. Now I can sign in. I can do 123 123 123 and hit submit. And as you can see, we successfully signed in, and now we on the dashboard. We can sign out and it will sign out me, right? Now we on the root. Great. So now let's go back to the sign up. So now I'm going to try to sign up with the temporary email. And let's try to say 123 123. Let's click submit, and as you can see, we don't allow disposable email addresses. Really cool. That means this is a validation working on the server. So if we send like a temporary email, we send like a, let me showing you on the documentation in here, we cannot send invalid email, we cannot send the disposable email, we cannot send the, as you can see here, email that don't have the MX record. That means the email doesn't have server found. It will throw an error. Look super great. So Arcjet is basically sponsor for this video. I'm going to showing you how to implement all of that in this video, so just make sure you follow along and let's just get started. Alright, so let's first open your terminal, and in here I'm going to generate Next.js application. So I can say npx create next app at latest, and for the application name I'm gonna say next secure or whatever the name you want, and just hit enter. TypeScript yes, ESLint yes, Tailwind CSS yes, source directory no, and app router yes. TurboPack I want to say yes. TurboPack is just basically a bundler that replaces a Webpack, right? So it's more fast than Webpack, so we are going to use TurboPack in this tutorial. Let's just say yes, import alias no, and it will install all the dependency right here. After the installation done, we can say cd into the folder, which is next secure. And from here, we can open that inside of Visual Studio Code with code and then dot. So let's clean up this a little bit. So first I'm going to open the layout.tsx, and I just want to remove the local font here. We don't need that. Let's remove the local font up here. And also in this class name, just remove all of this variable. And also let's open the page.tsx, and I want to just remove all this div and just returning div, and then h1, let's say hello world, just like that. And now let's open terminal and say npm run dev to open the server on localhost 3000. If you open localhost 3000 on the browser, now you should see just hello world. All right, so next let's install Shadcn. Let's go to installation Next.js, and I'm going to use npm. Let's go back, open another terminal, and here let's paste the npx Shadcn at latest in it. Hit enter. The style I'm going to select New York, neutral, and CSS variable yes. Alright, as you can see, we get some error here. That is because, let's take a look on the error here. This is just because now React 19 is not compatible with all this package right here. To fix that, it's pretty simple. Basically, first thing, you can use Next.js 14. You can install like npx create next app, and here you can say add 14. It will just use the 14th version and you will not get any error. Or you can just change the, let's go to package.json file. You can change the version of the React to 18. It also will work. As you can see here, it's used the newest version, which is 19. But we are going to use the third solution, which is we are going to use dash dash force. And in the end of the command here, I'm going to say dash dash force. This will force any error and it will install all the packages that we need. Alright, it's done. But as you can see, the last thing that we don't really see here is the utils file. So let's go back to the Next.js and see. Let's go to manual here. We need to manually add the file, which is the, let's see on the bottom here, this one here, libutils.ts. So let's copy that. And here's, I'm going to create components folder. Inside that components folder, create file and paste that right here, which is lib folder and utils file. So now let's just copy all this content and then paste that right here. So now we're good to go. Let's run npm run dev and let's go back to page. Let's try to use maybe button. So you can say npx setcn add lattice. I'm going to say add button. All right. And to just skip all the error, you can use dash dash force in here. Just like that, it will install the button. Great. So now let's try to import the button on the page. So you can say button, and then here we can say hello me. Okay, just save and see on the browser. All right, we get this warning because lib it should be on the root. So let's move that on the root here. Let's move. And then hopefully now everything should be fine. As you can see, we get the hello me on button here that's styling on the setcn. So now let's remove the button here and also the font folder. We don't need that. Let's delete and move to the trash. Great. So now let's open terminal and I just want to basically add this on the Git. So I'm going to say git add all because I just want to keep track every time I make a change in here. Git add all, let's say git commit -m. I'm going to say install and set up Next.js and setcn. Let's create the form, which is the sign in form and also the sign up form. Inside the app here, I'm going to create a folder called out. This will group the out, as you can see here. And inside the out folder, I'm going to create layout. So let's do layout.tsx. And also I'm going to create a folder called signin folder. And also another folder called sign up like that. Inside each folder here, I'm going to create page.tsx. And also inside the sign in, I'm going to create page.tsx as well. All right, so on the layout here, I'm going to say rfc, or maybe I just want to copy and paste come from this root layout. Let's just copy all of this, copy that, go to layout here, and then let's remove this metadata. We don't need that. And also everything on the top. And this is basically, I'm going to change the name to out layout. The name is doesn't really matter, but just put out layout to make it same with this folder here. Also, I want to remove this HTML here, and inside the main, I'm going to create a div, and inside the div, I'm going to render the children. The idea is simple. This div is basically, I'm going to wrap all of these children inside the flags, and I'm going to put all the content in the center of the browser. So let's do here. I'm going to say class name, height into screen, which is 100 view height, and display flags, flags column, and also the item should be center and justify should be also on the center. This class here will make all the component inside the children will be on the center of the window or on the browser. Let's go to sign up. Here I'm going to say RFC and let's do sign up like that. Let's do H1 and I'm going to say sign up. Let's go to /sign up. And now you will see the text it should be on center right here. Great. Let's just copy all of this component here into the sign in and change that to sign in. And also this should be sign in. Great. So now we have the sign in, sign up component. Let's go to sign in and we have sign in. Great. And next, I'm gonna create the navbar. So navbar should be available to entire road. So I'm gonna put the navbar on the layout here on the root layout. So let's close everything, go to app, and let's make sure we open the layout root here, right here. So we need to put the navbar right here. So let's go to the components, and here I'm gonna create a file called navbar.tsx. The navbar is really simple. Let's do rfce, and here I'm gonna say navbar with capital N. That's how we create a component on React. So here I'm gonna do border bottom. Let's say class name to border bottom, like that, and also the px padding horizontally I'm gonna say to 4. Also here I'm gonna create another div, and inside this div I have a component on the left, which is the logo or something like that, and also a component on the right, which is the button login. So here I'm gonna say class name, display flex, item should be on the center, and justify to between. It will make the h1 left on the left side and h1 right on the right side. And here I'm gonna say mx to auto to basically will make this maximal width for XL into the center. And I'm gonna say height to 16. Save, and we are gonna use the navbar on this layout. So let's say navbar, just like that. So now we should see the navbar right here, left on the left, right on the right. Nice. Let's go back to navbar, and then here I'm gonna change that to logo or something like that. So here I'm gonna say link. Link should become from the next link. The href it should be on the root, and inside the link I'm going to just put a random icon come from the Lucid React, and then here I'm gonna say class name height to 6 and width to 6 as well. And also let's put the name of the application here, and I don't know, I just want to say next secure, and then let's add some class name, let's say font bold, just like that. Now we should have beautiful, as you can see here, and the text and also the icon, it should be same horizontal, so we can basically use display flex. So in this link here I'm gonna say class name to display flex, item center, and gap between the icon and the text I'm gonna do 2. Let's see. Great. Nice. Next, let's create the button login. So here I'm gonna do maybe I'm gonna wrap that with a div like that, and inside the div we have a link. Right, the link should become from the next link, and also after I click this it should be push me into the /sign in, like that. And in this href I'm going to put text called sign in. This link it should be have styling like a button, so we can do that by say class name, and then we can put the button variants come from the UI buttons like that, and we just run that function, and now as you can see it will be button. Look really great. Next we are going to create the sign in form. So let's go back to Shadcn, and we're going to use this card to basically put the title, description, and all the field in here, right? Just like this example here. Let's copy that, use npm, open terminal, and hit paste right here. And then I'm going to say -- force to basically make sure we don't get any error. Great, it's done. Let's go back to the Shadcn here, and I just want to copy this template, copy that, go back to the, let me go back to the out and then sign in, close this terminal. And then here, I just want to basically paste that all the card right here, and then just make sure import that from the UI, card header from the UI, card title, description, content, and also footer. Now we should have beautiful card on the browser. Let's take a look. As you can see, nice. Let's make the width full. I'm gonna say class name here, width to full, and the maximal width I'm gonna set that to medium. Also mx to auto to make it on center. Look at that, really cool. Let's change the card title and description. The title it should be sign in and the description should be welcome back. Please sign in to continue. And then for the footer, I just want to paste this content right here. It's basically a link, right? It's just link. If you don't have account, you can go to this sign up page. Let's save and let's take a look. As you can see, don't have account. If I click sign up, it will redirect me to the sign up page. All right, so now let's working with the card content. Card content is basically the form. So we are going to use form come from the Shadcn, which is we are going to use a React hook form to handle the form, and also we are going to use Zod to add the validation. So how we can install that is pretty simple. Let's copy this command here, go to the terminal, and here I'm going to paste that, and just make sure we're using -- force to make sure we don't get any error. -- force, hit enter. As you can see, button tsx is already exists. Would you like to override? So I'm going to say yes. It doesn't really matter because we don't really change the button component, right? Great, it's done. So now how we can use that? Let's go back here. And then the first thing is we're going to create the form schema. So here I'm going to copy that and then go to on the top, paste that right here. So this is basically the form schema that the form is going to be look like. And then here I'm going to say username or maybe name. I'm going to just copy and paste this. We have email and also we have password. All right, we're going to back to this form schema, but for now, just leave it at like that. And then next, we're going to create the define the form, and also we are going to define the submit handler. But of course, we need to import on the top here. I'm going to copy that and then paste that right here. All right, go back here and we're going to copy this two-step, but make sure you import that or paste that inside the sign in right here. So basically we define form with use form come from the React form, and then we paste the form schema right here. And as you can see, we get an error here. That's because now form schema have name, email, and password, don't have username. So the default value for the name, I'm going to say empty string, and for the email, also empty string, and for the password, I just want to say empty string. All right, let's go back here, and this is basically the submit handler. So I just want to remove all of the command. Let's go back, and now let's create the form. So I just want to copy all of this form here, right? Let's copy that, and then here I'm going to paste inside the card content. Copy and paste that right here. Just make sure we import the form from the component UI form. Form field come from the component, and form item come from the UI. Form label also come from the UI and control, and also input. We don't yet have input, right? So let's install the input. So here we can say npx -- Shadcn add latest add input. After the installation done, let's close the terminal, and now we can use the input here. So we can import it, and for the form description, we're not going to use that. I just want to remove this one, and the form message, we're going to use that for showing error message, and just import the button here. Okay, and as you can see, name is have an error here because username don't exist. So you can use name here and just say name like that. So let's go back and see what we have now. Let's just refresh. After I reload the VS Code, I still get this error here. Maybe that is because we don't specify this component. It should be client component. So now let's try to say use client on the top of this file, and just make sure this is client component. And now let's go back and it should be works. As you can see, we have the name right now. Great. And let's go back to the form, and I'm going to change the placeholder here into like John Doe or something like that. Nice. So now let's copy and paste the form field 3 more times because we need to have an email field and also the password field. Let's copy the form field and then paste that 2 more times like that, and then change this into email. Also the name should be email, and also for the example here, I'm gonna say, let's say john@mail.com, and also for the password, I'm gonna say password, and also for the label, let's do password, and the placeholder, I'm going to say enter your password. Just like that. Just make sure this input type is a password. That is because now, as you can see, if I type in here, it's showing the text, right? If I change the type into a password, let me showing you here. Now, every time I type in here, it's hidden, right? That's great for the password field. So next, I like to decrease the space between these field here. Let's go back to form, and for the space Y, I'm gonna say 4, save, and yeah, this is more better. Nice. So now let's create the sign up. Let's click this sign up, and let's work with this sign up page. So basically, this is really similar. So we can just copy all of this, go to the sign up, and then just paste right here everything. Right, so let's change this into sign up, just like that. And now we should get all of this, right? It's the same like sign in. So let's change that couple things here. First, the card title and the card description. I'm going to change the card title into sign up, the card description into create your account to get started. And also for the footer, I'm going to change that into, let's see right here, I'm going to copy and paste. As you can see, we have text called already have account, just sign in. Let me go back, and as you can see, if I click sign in, now we're on the sign in page. If I click sign up, we're on the sign up page. For the sign up, we have name, email, and password. But for the sign in, we need to just have email and password, by the way. So we need to just remove this name. Let's go back to sign in, and let's remove the name. I'm going to remove this name. Let's get rid of that. And of course, we also need to remove this default value. We don't have name basically, and also the name right here. Save, and then now let's try to see on the console after we click submit if there's a value on the console or not. So let's try to see chan@mail.com, and I'm gonna say random password, submit, and as you can see, we get the value. Great. I'm gonna copy the email name, go back to sign up, and for the name here, I'm gonna say Chan, and then for the email, put the email and password, just random password, submit, and as you can see, we get the value. Okay, so that means our form is worked correctly. So now let's make a commit first. So I'm going to say git add all, git commit -m, create UI, sign in, and sign up. Hit enter. Great. So now we can see npm run dev again. And then the next thing is I want to create the form schema based on the field that we want, right? Because on the sign in, we just have email and password. On the sign up, we have name, email, and password. So I'm going to create the form schema on the lib folder. Here, let's create another file. I'm going to call this out schema. So in here, we can export variable called form schema, set equals to zot, right, dot object. And inside this object here, I'm going to specify the field. So for the name field, I'm going to set the name, it should be string. So we can say z dot string here, just like that. And also I want to, the name it should be have the minimal value, which is 2. So I can say min 2 like that. And also if the name is less than 2 character, I can add message. The message I'm going to say name must be at least 2 character long. And also I can add maximal value. So the maximal is 50. So if the name is more than 50 character, I want to add message. So the message is going to be name cannot exceed 50 characters. Just that's it for the name. And also I'm going to just copy all of this, right? And then now for the email, let's do email. Email, I like to say this is going to be string. And also this is going to be have type email. So we can say email like that. If the email string doesn't have email value format valid, so we can say a message into please enter a valid email address. And I can say dot minimal value to, for example, 2. And I can also add the maximal value to, let's say 5 or 50, I think, just like that. So we get this error here. That's because we don't need to add comma in here. We need to add comma after the condition done. So in here, the last condition, I mean. All right, great. So next thing is for the password. So you can say password. It should be have a string as well. So let's do z.string like that. And the password, it should be have the minimal and maximal value. So I'm gonna copy the rules here and I'll paste that right here. All right, so the minimal is 8 and the message password must be at least a character long, and the maximal is 50. It's a password cannot extend 50 characters. All right, just like that. And now we can use this form schema on to sign up. So here I'm going to just remove the form schema here, and then just make sure we import the form schema come from the auth schema, just like that. So everything should be work because on the sign up we have name, email, and password, just like we define in here, name, email, and password. But now we cannot basically use this form schema into the sign in because sign in doesn't have a name. So to do that, here we can create another schema. So we can say export. Let's do export cons. I'm gonna say sign in form schema or whatever number you want. And I'm gonna say set equals to form schema, which is this form schema on the top right here. And I'm gonna say dot pick function. So I can do dot pick, right? And I'm gonna pick the email, set that to true, and also the password, set that to true. So now we can use this sign in form schema on our sign in. So let's remove this form schema here. And then instead of form schema, we are going to use sign in form schema. So now let's go back to the browser. And then here's basically the submit button here. I'm going to add a full width. So let's scroll that down. And here I'm going to say class name to width. I'm going to set that to full. And also for the sign up as well, let's do on the sign up right here. I'm going to do class name width into full. So now as you can see, it's more better, right? If I click submit without giving any value, as you can see, we get this error here. Name must be at least 2 characters. If I do 1 character, it still get an error. If I do a lot of characters here, of course, it's not give any error. For the email, as you can see, if I do random something in here, of course, the email is not valid email address. If I do just .com, it will be a valid email. So for the password also, if there's more than 8, it should be remove the error. If I click submit, we get a value. Great. Also for sign in, it also works. As you can see, if I do random things here, submit, as you can see, we get also the error message. Great. I think we're done with the validation of from the client. So I think let's add git commit as well on this validation. So we can say git add all, commit sm, add validation form on the client. Hit enter and let's do npm run dev again. So now let's working with the authentication. And yep, we are going to use Better Auth. Better Auth is the most comprehensive authentication library for TypeScript. And yeah, by the way, this is really easy to implement on the Next.js application. And I noticed this great package here from the DevAt. It's my favorite YouTuber programming, by the way. And let's click get started, by the way. And let's go to installation. And then first we need to install the package, which is Better Auth. So let's copy the command, go back to terminal. And I don't want to see any errors, so I'm going to use -- force just to make sure everything clean. So as you can see, it's done. And the next thing is we need to generate secret, right? Let's create the env file on the root. Let's do .env and then paste that right here. And also I'm going to put the base URL because we're working on the development mode. Of course, we need to set the localhost 3000 because Next.js run on the localhost 3000. Of course, after you deploy your application, you need to change this better auth URL. Nice. After we set up the environment variable, we need to create the auth.ts inside the lib. So let's just copy everything here. And then on the lib folder, I'm going to create a file called auth.ts. and paste that right here. It's basically just export the variable call out and initialize the better out here. And of course, we need to send a couple options in this better out object. So let's go back and see what we have. As you can see, we need to configure a database. And yep, we're going to use Prisma and PostgreSQL. And of course, let's scroll down. In the adapter, we are going to use Prisma, which is this one, right? As you can see, we need to install Prisma and also Prisma client. So let's first install the Prisma client. I'm going to copy the package name. Let's go back to terminal. We can say npm install add Prisma client and just make sure we don't get any warning. I'm going to say -- force. It will install the Prisma client. Alright, so now let's install the Prisma. So we can say npm install Prisma as a dev dependency. We can say -d flag, and hopefully we don't get any error on the console. Yep, we get an error. That's why I should put force every time I basically install new packages. And hopefully now it's clean. Alright, Prisma is installing successfully. So now we can say npx prisma init. This command will create the Prisma folder and the schema Prisma, and also we have the environment variable with this database URL. We're going to back later on this environment variable, but now let's go back to the schema Prisma here. I think I don't yet install the Prisma extension on this VS Code, so let me install that first. This Prisma extension is really important if you're working with Prisma. As you can see, it's at syntax highlighting, formatting, auto-completion, and etc. So now let's see, and it's more better. Next, we need to initialize the Prisma client. So you can do something like this. It just works, but the better way to initialize Prisma client is to do like this one. So this is basically will check if you're on the development mode, it will preventing the creation of multiple extensions during the development hot reloads. Right, this is the better way how you basically initialize the Prisma client. I'm gonna copy that and go to the lib folder and create the file call. I'm gonna say prisma.ts and paste that right here. So as you can see, it's exported Prisma variable, and we can use that on our out right here. So let's go back to documentation of Better Auth, and then here we're going to specify the database. So let's say database. What we're going to use is basically come from the Prisma adapter. So just make sure this is going to be, let's say, Prisma adapter, and then we're going to put the Prisma here. All right, the Prisma is going to come from the /Prisma, which is the initialized Prisma client that we have, right? And after that, we need to set the provider. So let's say comma here and give an object, and we can specify the provider that we are going to use. So in this case, I'm going to use PostgreSQL. After we create the out right here, we need to basically create the schema, ORM schema. So we can use this command right here to generate the schema of the Prisma. So let me showing you right here. So I'm going to paste that here, npx better-auth/cli space generate. This command will install the better auth CLI. I'm gonna say yes, hit enter. So this does not work because we don't yet run the npx prisma generate. So let me first clean up a little bit, and I'm gonna say npx prisma generate like that and hit enter. We get this error. That is because we don't have any models on our schema Prisma. As you can see, there's no model in here. But let's just try to copy this model here and paste it here. All right, and also let's go back to environment variable, and I just want to change this username into Postgres. That's the name of my PostgreSQL on my local, by the way. So I'm gonna put the name right here, and also for the password, this is my random password here. And also for the database name, I'm gonna say secure, next secure, basically, just like that. All right, so let's run that again. npx prisma generate, hit enter. All right, it's done. So now I'm gonna say npx prisma studio to basically see the database that we see on the dashboard right here. As you can see, we have the user. In this user, we have basically ID, email, and name, right? cool. So now let's go back to Better Auth, and we are going to generate the schema using this command right here. So I'm going to copy that, and then let's just paste that right here. npx better auth CLI generate. So as you can see, we have question here. Do you want to generate the schema to this file here? I'm going to say yes. And let's go back to schema Prisma. And now I have basically new schema here. It's generated by this command right here from the Better Auth. Look super great. We get this error here. That is because the relation doesn't match. As you can see here, the user ID have a type string, but on the top right here, the user ID is basically integer, right? So we need to change that to string like that, and just remove this default right here. And now everything should be fine. Great. So now we need to push this new schema on the database, so we can use npx prisma dbpush and hit enter. This will push the new schema on the database. Let's see right here on the Prisma Studio. I'm gonna refresh, and hopefully now we see. No, we cannot see. I think let's just restart the Prisma Studio, and as you can see, now we have the account, session, user, and also the verification models. Let's go back to the Better Auth documentation, and as you can see, this is basically how you can add the authentication method. This is email and password, and you can enable that to true. If you want to add the CL provider, you can do GitHub and send the client ID and also the client secret. And for this video, I just want to show you how to do that with email and password. So let's just copy this email and password, go back to the auth like this one, and here I'm gonna paste that like so. And the next thing what I'm going to show you is how that we can create the route. So let's go back to documentation and see. Next, we need to create the mount handler. So let's create a file called route.ts inside the api/auth/all. So let's copy this route here. Go back to app and create file, paste that right here and hit enter. As you can see, we're on the api/auth/all and then route.ts. So let's just copy everything here like that. And the auth is that we create in here, and also we wrapping this out inside the two Next.js handler, and we export the post request and get request. Great. After that, we need to create the auth-client.ts. This is basically useful for if you want to sign in, sign out, or sign up or whatever on the client side. So let me just copy this name here, auth-client.ts, and go to the lib folder and then paste that right here. And now I just copy all this content here and paste it. As you can see, now we can use auth-client.signin, auth-client.signup, auth-client.use session to get the session on the client side. Great, as you can see, that's it, we're done. So now I'm going to showing you how we can sign up. So basically I just want to close everything in here to make it clean. I'm going to say npm run dev. Let's open the sign up page. So in this sign up, as you can see here, we have this on submit, right? This is basically that we need to call the auth-client.signup. So let me first grab all the value. So here we can say cons. We can grab the name, email, and also the password from the values, right? So let's do structuring in here, name, email, and password like that. And down here you can say cons. I grab the data and maybe any error, set equals to await for the auth client. This basically comes from the auth client. Let me showing right here, auth client. All right, and here we can say dot sign up dot email, because we are going to sign up with email. You can see that example on this authentication, email and password. Let me scroll it down, and as you can see, this is on the client, and this is basically what you have to do. Just copy that and paste that right here, just like that. Because this is await, of course, this function needs to be async function. So let's change that to async function like that. And now the error is should be gone. Great. So the email should become from the email. like that. But if we have same name, just remove the value here. We don't need that. And also the password, let's remove it. And also the name. As you can see, we also can send image and callback URL, because let me show you on the Prisma schema here. Let me show you here on the user, we can send image, right? Let's go back, but in this tutorial, I'm not going to send any image. For the callback URL, that means after user successfully sign up, where do you want to user go? So in my case, I want to say sign in. After user successfully sign up, I want the user is redirect into the sign in page to just basically sign in with the new email and password that the user have. After we send the form value, we also can get the on request, on success, and on error. So let me just copy all of this right here. So I'm gonna copy that, go back to the sign up and just paste that right here. So basically here, when the on request, we can set a loading in here. If the success is run, we can just run anything in here. If error happen, we can just run anything in here. Look super great, right? So basically what I want to showing you is when the on request is starting, which is the loading is happened, I want to run the toast notification on the bottom of our application. So that's why I'm going to install the toast notification. The toast component is basically come from the Shadcn. As you can see here, if I click, it is coming from the bottom right corner here. So let's install that toast component. I'm gonna use npm open the terminal, and here just want to stop this Prisma Studio first and paste that right here. And of course, I'm gonna set that to --force because I don't want to see any error. Let's see --force like that. Let's go back here, and then we need to not wrapping basically, but we need to put the toaster on the root layout. So let's grab this toaster, go to root layout, and just paste in that right here. I'm gonna put that down on of the children and just import from the component UI. And now we can just use that. To use this toast is pretty simple. We need to just say toast and then send the title and description. So let me close this one, and then let's go back here. If the on request is running, I want to run this toast right here. Just make sure we need to import the toast come from the hooks that we automatically created. As you can see here, the Shadcn is created for us. So for the title, I'm gonna say please wait. Let's remove this and say please wait. And for the description, I just want to remove that. Also for the on success here, after user successfully submit right here, right, I want to basically all the available form in here is reset. So that's why in here I'm gonna use form.reset and just run that function like that. It will reset all the value inside the input field. Alright, so now let's just give a shot. I just want to say npx Prisma Studio again, and then let's go back to the application and let's try to sign up. Alright, so I'm going to open my network here, and hopefully we can see the network requests on the network tab. So first, let's go to name. I'm gonna say John. Let's say John Doe or whatever you want. For the email, I'm gonna say john@mail.com. For the password, I'm gonna say 123 hit submit. Alright, this is just nothing happened. So let's try to restart the server. Alright, so let's try to submit. If I click, as you can see, we have place wait on the toast, but let's see on the Prisma Studio. I'm going to refresh, and hopefully now we have one user that log in. As you can see here, we have the ID, email, name, email verify, image is empty, and I'm going to open the account here. So let's see what we have. As you can see, the password is just encrypted, right? Automatically. This is just crazy, beautifully authentication. So yeah, just let's go back here, and I'm trying to sign in, but the sign in now is not work, right? Let's just try with sign up first again. So I'm gonna say John, and then john@mail.com 123 123 123. I'm gonna click this preserve log so you can see, and then I'm gonna click submit. As you can see, we have please wait, and then as you can see here, the payload that we send is callback URL, email, name, and password. And then hopefully now, of course, we see this another account that live in this database, right? Super cool. On the user, we have this Chan right here. All right, we successfully implemented the sign up functionality on the Next.js with Better Auth. Great job. So next thing is we are going to implement the sign in. So let's just close, remove the console and close the terminal. And I want to basically copy and paste this submit because really similar, of course. So let's go back to the sign in. And I just want to paste that right here, just like that. And of course, there's something we need to remove from here, which is this form schema should be signed in from schema, right? Let's just change that to sign in from schema. Also, we don't need to get the name because name doesn't exist on this sign in. Let's remove the name. And then we need to import the those come from the hooks and out client. But instead of sign up, we are going to use sign in, just like that. And yep, we're going to use email. And then let me take a look. The callback URL should be a dashboard. After the successfully sign in, we need to user direct into the dashboard page. All right, so now let's try to log in. Let's go back here. And the first thing is I'm going to just do the random name in here that doesn't exist on the database, right? Click submit, and then as you can see, we have invalid email and password. Great. So I'm gonna put my credential chan@mail.com and also 123.123.123. Click submit, and as you can see, we successfully on the dashboard right now. Super great. And I'm gonna create the dashboard first. So let's go with the app here. Let's create the dashboard page. And inside the dashboard, let's create a page.tsx like that. So I just want to copy and paste this dashboard page. Really simple. We just have h1 with welcome to dashboard. And as you can see, we on the welcome, what the hell is that? Welcome. Great. We on the welcome to the dashboard. Really cool. All right. So the next thing is I'm showing you is how to get the session. Let's go back to the dashboard here, and I want to say cons session set equals to await. Of course, this should be async component like this one, right? And we can say await for out, come from the lib/out, and we can use .api. This is basically working on the server. If you want to get the data from the server, you need to use the out right here. Right, if you want to basically sign in, sign out, or get the session, etc., you can use this out. If you want to get that from the client, you use this out client right here. Hope that makes sense. So now let's go back to the page right here. I'm gonna say out.api.get session, and then inside in here, I'm gonna send the headers. Header, it should be sending this. Headers come from the next/headers. Just run that headers like that. Great. So now we need to check if we don't have session. Explanation right here. If we don't have the session, we need to just return. I'm gonna use redirect, come from the next navigation, and just redirect user to the root of the application, which is the /. Nice. So now here, let's render the name and the email. So I'm going to use ul and li, and inside in here, I'm going to say name. Name should come from the user. So first, I'm going to grab the user. So we can say cons set equals to cons user, set equals to session, and then session.user, basically, just like that. So we can access the user.name. And also we can access the user.email. And of course, this should be email. So let me save and let's go back. And as you can see, we see this name and the email. Super crazy stuff, right? So anyway, I'm really excited because the Better Auth is super easy to implement, and that's really cool. All right, after we know how to get the session. Now, how do we sign out? So let me go back to the Navbar. All right, on the Navbar here, first we need to get the session, right? So let's go back to the dashboard and just copy this session right here, paste that in here. And of course, we need to import the out. We need to change the component to async. Also, let's import the headers come from the next headers. And now down here, we can add the condition. I'm gonna cut this one first. So here, I'm gonna say if the session have a value, I'm gonna render on form. So let's do form, but else I just want to render this link right here, right? So now you should see empty because now we have session, right? So inside this form, I'm gonna create a button called sign out. So let me just import the button come from the UI. And now as you can see, we have the sign out button. So I want to this button here, when I click that, it will run on the server. So that's why I'm wrapping that inside a form. If I add on click in here, that will run on the client. So let's do form, and then I'm gonna say action. And in this function, we need to send arrow function, just like that. And we can just specify this should be an async function, like that. And inside in here, I'm going to specify this should be run on the server. Let's say use server. And then I can say await. I'm gonna do out.api, right? Remember, out is basically come from the server, so we can use that right here. Out.api.sign out, just like that. And here we need to send the headers. Let's copy the headers and send that right here. And I believe that will works. And down here, I can do redirect, of course, come from the next navigation. And after user successfully sign out, I want the user back to the home page. All right, let's go back here and let's go back here and just try to sign out. Let me click this one and boom, we are sign out. Really, really cool. We already implemented the sign out, sign in, and get session and sign out. But there's one thing that we're missing. Let me show you right here. On the sign up, as you can see, if I typing, for example, say whatever name it is, right? And then for the email, if I just do a random something email in here, and of course this email doesn't access, right? And this provider.ui also doesn't access. So for example, I'm gonna put password like random password in here, and I click submit, and this is still success. That means it's still on our database, right? It's saving on our database. This is basically a bad for security, because email like this, it should be not saving on our database, right? Because user just can basically create like temporary email, create like random email just for trying. So that's, of course, we don't need to store in our database. So that's why in this video it's sponsoring by Arcjet. Arcjet is security as code built for a developer, offering powerful filters like bot detection, rate limiting, email validation, attack protection, and data redaction. It's a great solution for securing form like the one we are building today. Now let's integrate Arcjet into our Next.js project and see how easily it can enhance the security of our form. Alright, so let's first go to the docs right here. And I think the documentation is straightforward, so it's really easy to follow along. Of course, we're going to use Next.js, and let's just see how we can use it. As you can see, you can select any command you want. I want to use npm. So let's just copy this npm install. I'm going to copy that. Go back to the terminal, and before that, I want to basically commit this code first. Integrate better auth, just like that. Just hit enter, and then I'm going to say npm run dev again. Let's paste in here npm install arcjet/next, and I'm going to use -- force to make sure we don't get any error. All right, it's done. Great. So let's see what we can do next. The next thing is we need to create the Arcjet key. So we need to get that from the account in here. So you can just sign up. And then I already doing that with my GitHub account. And here we can create a new site. So let's create a new site. And then I'm going to call this Next Secure. Let's click create. This is basically the Arcjet key. So I'm going to copy that and go back to the environment variable. And I'm going to paste that right here, just like that. I want to just remove all the comment here and just make sure everything look clean. Great. So let's continue with Next.js. And the next thing after we get the Arcjet key, we need to basically create this route in here, right? But I want to use the sign up form protection. So let's go to this get quick start. And then here, as you can see, I'm going to use this sign up protection. So let's just copy this right here. I'm going to copy all of that and go back to our road. It should be on the API and then road right here, right? And then I'm going to paste that right here. Let's import the Arcjet and the protect sign up from the package. And here I'm going to explain what is this. We create a variable called ag and set equals to Arcjet, right? And here we send the key to basically environment variable that we get from the documentation, and we send the rules. In these rules, we sending this protect sign up, and for email, we set the mode to leave. That means it will block any request if the request match with this condition here, right? If the email is disposable, if the email is invalid, or if the email is no MX record, it will block that request. What does disposable mean? Disposable mean is kind of like temporary email. So there's a lot of websites out there that give us ability to create temporary email, right? This is bad for our application, of course, if user just create temporary email and sign up to our application. And also we have the invalid condition. That means if user just send the invalid email format, it will be blocked as well. And also the no MX record, it means if the user don't have the server found, it will also block the request. All right, I'm gonna just remove the comment in here. And the next thing is the bot. Bots, we need to set that to live as well. And this is basically will block all bots. And normally, if you have maybe a website, for the get request, you can put allow here to search engine like a Google, etc. But for sign up, we are going to block basically any bot, right? So let's just remove this command. And also for the rate limiting, this is basically will limit the same IP address to 5 submission every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, user just allow to submit 5 submission on our sign up page, right? If user with the same IP address make more than 5 requests on the 10-minute range, it will block the request. So now let's see how to implement this with our Better Auth. So down here, what I'm going to do is create a variable called, let's say, cons Better Auth handler set equals to Next.js handler, and we sending out dot handler inside the to Next.js handler. And down here, I'm going to remove the post because we are going to create another post. And then here, instead of to Next.js handler out, we need to just grab this Better Auth handler in here. So now let's create the post. So here I'm going to say cons ag protected post set equals to, this is basically a async function. So I'm going to say async, and then I'm going to do arrow function just like that. And inside in here, I just want to say return, let's do better auth handlers, and I'm going to say post just like that, and send the request. The request is basically come from these params. We can grab that like request, and this request have a type next request, come from the next/server. All right, so down here, what I'm going to do is say export. I'm going to export this function here, and I'm going to change the name as a post, just like that. This is same like we export get and post in this route right here. Just by doing this, our application is still work like we expected. But as you can see, we don't really handle this AG right here on the AG protected route. But if you try the sign up now, it's still working, by the way. As you can see, if I just paste random name here, just random email and random password, submit, and I believe this is works. Let's see. As you can see, it works. And if I go to Prisma Studio, now we have new name right here. So now let's implement this AG right here on our post right here. So now let's grab the email. So we can grab the email by say cons. We're destructuring the email in here, and we get that from the await set equals to await request.clone. We run that clone, and then we run the JSON just like that. And down here, we are gonna say cons decision set equals to await for AG like that, and then dot protect. In here, I'm gonna send the request, and also let's do object in here. I'm gonna send email. Email set equals to this email right here, because we are going to validate the email. This is also available on the documentation if you want to see right here, I believe. Yeah, like this, right? We get the email. I hope you can see it. We get the email, and in here we set the decision variable and wait for the AG protect request, and then we send the email to email. That's what we are going to do here, basically. All right. After we're doing that, we need to check if the decision is denied. So here I'm going to check again. If the decision.reason.isEmail, if the is denied from the email, that means something wrong with the email, we need to do something inside this if statement. That means if user still cannot sign up, that's because for now, just want to send the next response and forbidden, because sometimes it's just blocked by the red limiting, or sometimes it's blocked by this both right here. But we just check for the email inside this if condition right here, if the decision is reason email, right? Else we need to just return this forbidden. All right, for the email, I'm going to create a variable called message. As you can see, I'm going to close this terminal. This message will changing every time we have different error. For example, here, if the error is invalid, we get this email. Email address format is invalid. Is there a typo? If the error or the block that happened is come from the disposable email, it will return this we do not allow disposable email addresses. If the reason the block email is come from the no MX record, this is the message that we are going to send on the user. All right, so down here, we're going to send that as a response. So we can say return, and then here I'm gonna say next response.json, and we are going to send basically a message. For the message, gonna be set equals to message, and for the reason, it come from the decision.reason. And also for the status, let's send status. I'm gonna send 400. All right, so now let's go back to sign up. And as you can see here, if something wrong happened, we just send the alert ctx error.message. But remember here, we send the message, right? Okay, everything should be works. Now let's go back to the application and go to sign up. And I just want to send a random name and random email. This email, it should be not recognized. So let's say dot whatever, like that. And then let's try to submit, and hopefully it's blocked. As you can see, your email domain does not have an MX record. Is there a typo? Great, that means this is blocked, all right? The Arcjet is successfully blocking this email to sign up in our application, which is great. So the next thing is, instead of just use this alert, I don't like this alert, by the way. I like to, when the errors comes in, I want to, the email here is showing the error. So let's go back to the page right here, and on the error here, instead of alert, I'm going to remove it. First, I'm going to send the toast notification. That means it will showing the notification toast on the bottom right here with the variant destructive this is basically have a color red. And also down here, I'm gonna say form dot set error, all right? And I'm gonna set error for the email field, and then I'm gonna send, this is gonna be have a type manual, and also for the message, it's gonna be come from the ctx error.message. Copy that and paste it right here. So now let's go back. I'm gonna click submit, and hopefully now, as you can see, the error is just on the field and it's more better user experience. So now let's try to sign up with the correct email. So I'm gonna use gmail.com, and the password, I'm gonna say 123 submit, and of course this will be success. Great. And for the email, I'm gonna put that email in here. It'll be gmail, I believe, gmail.com, and for the password 123. Hit submit, and hopefully I can go to dashboard. Great. So now as you can see, if I sign out, we are successfully signed out. Did you notice every time you sign up, this is automatically showing on the top right here, it's log out. That means this is auto sign in. So we can fix that problem. We put this auto sign in to false, because by default email and password give the auto sign in to true. That means if you sign up, this is automatically sign into the dashboard. So that's not what we want. We need to after user sign up, user redirect to the sign in, and after user sign in, it will redirect to the dashboard. All right, just put this auto sign in, it will fix that issue. Hello, I'm from the futures. If sometime the validation of the Arcjet is not work for you, that is because on the road here, you need to basically wrapping the better auth handler here inside the else statement like that. If you're doing that, now every time you make a submit with the invalid email, or the email is disposable or whatever, it cannot be signed up, right? Just make sure you're adding that on the else right here. Alright, so we already learned a lot in this video, and hopefully you can implement all of that in your project. You can make your sign up, you can make your authentication is more secure. So hope this video helpful, and if you like this video, just don't forget to just give a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you like. So see you on the next one.